Have you ever tried changing your own or your team's behavior but felt lost in the jungle of terminology? You are not alone. Today we'll find out that perhaps the simplest driver for change is to ask what. Today's topic is clarity models, and this is the retrospective. There are tens, if not hundreds of techniques around that in some way deal with clarity. Almost all therapeutic, coaching and ideation modalities have their own ways of clarifying purpose, goals and action. For example, from psychology we know reframing, from coaching we know powerful questions, from liberating structures we know the 9 whys, and from agenda shift we know the photo questioning, which is actually based on clean language. For today's exercise, I've chosen 4 new kids on the block, because they thematically belong together. Let's begin with James Clear's identity-based change. His circular model separates identity, process and outcomes in separate rings. Identity equals to worldview, purpose and belief, process to action and habits, and outcomes to results or proof. And the starting point for this process would be identity. Applying change from outside in, or with the outcome-based habits, the focus is on what you want to achieve. To apply change from inside out, or with identity-based habits, the focus would be on who you wish to become. James Clear's big message here is that true behavior change is identity change. For example, a smoker would have troubles quitting smoking until they begin thinking themselves as non-smokers. Moving on to Sinek's golden circle, which looks a lot like the previous. Now we have why, how and what. Why equals to purpose and belief again, how to speciality or some specific properties, and what to products and services. Achieving change with this model could mean, for example, changing one's vocabulary when motivating others. Not talking anymore about results or technical details, but maybe about beliefs and values. And starting point, obviously, here. Moving on to Clear Purpose by Charles Davies. For him, clarity is fundamentally about separating that what we do and do not clearly, and building some kind of statement from there. How one calls that statement doesn't really matter. Davies further underlines the importance of the question what, because all questions in this context boil down to what's, just in different time frames. What is accompanied with why and how. The why expands time frame upwards and asks to what end, and how shrinks it down and translates to by what means. Starting point is what. Moving on to the golden stack by Tom Nixon. This is an evolution from the previous model with a few interesting twists. Nixon takes that the stack should continue in both directions as far as needed. Starting point can be anywhere or at any what. Now remember, all whys and hows are whats in this model too. Nixon recommends building statements for each layer in the cake and neatly combining them with by for better readability. If I would summarize this model, I would say it through a paradox maybe. All you need is what, but values matter most. There you have it. 4 ways to come closer to making that step you've always wanted to make. We got rid of so much junk, as none of these models required complicated diagrams or strategy workshops. If you asked me which model to use, I would just say diplomatically that you should use